Radio. It's time for our weekly segment with John McClain of the Houston Chronicle, brought to you by Pioneer Steel and Pipe, where customer service is their main focus, and best in metal, steel, and pipe for large or small projects, with 2 locations in Waco and Bryan. Family owned and operated since 1943.
All right, John McClain, Houston Chronicle, Hall of Fame writer and columnist, has covered the NFL forever, Waco Trib, and, of course, Baylor University. I'm going to start, John, I'm going to start with you. I told Paul to go first, but I'm going to start with you. Dave Aranda is coming to Houston in about a week or so. Is that right?
Yep, he's coming down here to speak at a Baylor event. John Morris will be the host, and people down here are really excited to see him, hear what he's got in store for his second season.
All right, John, NFL news. Aaron Rodgers, has this thing changed any in your estimation, or is it still eventually he and the Packers will work it out?
I think eventually they'll work it out, Paul. He's got 3 years left on his contract. Why would they trade a quarterback coming off an MVP season who's led them one step short of the Super Bowl the last 2 years? Rodgers still hasn't said anything, just like Deshaun Watson hasn't said anything. It's all about sources close to him, and a lot of people are talking. And ones I pay the most attention to are guys that are closest to him. And I'm not talking about Brett Favre, I'm talking on Sirius. I'm talking about guys, Mark Tauscher, an offensive lineman, John Kuhn, fullback. And those guys seem to think it'll be worked out. And he wanted a long-term extension for more money that would basically guarantee he finishes his career there. He wants to play into his 40s like Tom Brady and like Drew Brees just did. So the way he's playing, who's to say he's not? But if they sign him to that extension, they will probably in 2 more years have to trade Jordan Love and get 10 cents on the dollar unless he has to play because Rodgers gets hurt. But you know what? It would not serve any purpose for them to trade him. And because this one can be solved with money and a financial commitment when it comes to the years, unlike Deshaun Watson, where it was never about the money.
John, there's so much negative around the Texans, of course, with whether it was Nick Caserio or whether it was David Culley or it's Deshaun Watson or what was going on with Bill O'Brien, all that stuff. Is it settled down a little bit now where the rookie camp's about to start that can get back to football?
I think that it's settled down a lot. People have resigned themselves to the fact that Texans won't be any good. Everybody thinks they'll have the first pick in the next draft, and they very well could. They have 37 new veterans. I've never seen a team that's going to be turned over at least 70% of the time. We interviewed Caserio today before their annual charity golf tournament, and he mentioned about turning over the team, half the team, and I wanted to say, whoa, you've already turned over a lot more than half the team. They could end up with, I think, 70 to 75% of the roster upheaval, and I've never seen that in my 45 years of covering the NFL. But because the Watson situation has been quiet, the 2 attorneys are not launching broadsides in social media and with the media every week. That's been quiet, and everybody's talked about the draft, but now the rookie minicamp is coming up. It's not like they have high expectations. If this team finishes 1-16, it'll be the worst finish in team history. They finished 2-14 twice, coming off a 4-12 season. But new coach, new GM, new quarterback, a lot of new players, bring some excitement. And the single most important objective they have to accomplish this season is finding out if their first draft choice, 3rd-round pick Davis Mills, can play. If he could play and make them think that he can be Russell Wilson or Dak Prescott or Kirk Cousins or Tom Brady, 4 prominent quarterbacks taken after the 2nd round, that could have a huge impact on next year's draft if they did not have to target a quarterback with their first pick.
John, if Deshaun Watson gets taken off the commissioner's exempt list, he's not even on there yet, but I'm just theorizing that's where he's probably going to wind up because this isn't going to get resolved in 2 months. So if he eventually gets taken off of that, does his draft value or his trade value go back up, or does it still stay low because he has this, hanging over his head, even if it's resolved?
Paul, I can't say that there aren't teams out there that would not be interested in him based on what's happened. He's still innocent until proven guilty. But knowing the way the NFL works, because Watson's 25, under contract through 2025, coming off a great season in which he set his career best in every stat, without DeAndre Hopkins, without Will Fuller for 5 games, without Randall Cobb for 6. No matter who they put out there, he made them look good. There's going to be interest. 5 teams that just drafted quarterbacks in the first round won't be interested. A team that they better hope is interested, they need to be pulling against Jalen Hurts in Philadelphia. The Eagles have 2 ones. They could have 3 ones if Carson Wentz plays 75% of the time for the Colts. So that would be a team to target because of multiple picks. I think eventually when they trade him, if they get a 1 in 2022 and a 1 in 2023 and maybe a 2 or 3 from a team, then that would be great. But you're not going to get that right now.
Yeah, that's no question. Paul is infatuated with this Tim Tebow story.
Yeah.
And the Jaguars.
No, I'm defeated, John. It finally broke me. He's just never going to go anywhere. It's just going to be there.
Tim Tebow's best job is being an analyst on TV. He's really good on the SEC network. I'm all for people living out their dreams. He wanted to play for the Mets. He banged around the Mets minor league system. He's a Heisman Trophy winner. He's beloved by so many people. And if he thinks that he can play tight end for the Jaguars, a position that people encouraged him to try when he came out of Florida, more power to him. Have a good time. Enjoy yourself, because ultimately he's going to be back on TV.
Why did you shake your hand a little bit when he mentioned?
I'm not as bullish on his TV work, but of course, I don't like anything about him, so
Why? Just because he went to Florida
and beat Florida State? No, not because he went to Florida. He went to Florida and beat Florida State.
Yeah,
that says it all.
Yeah. There you go. It's awful, John. I got to just call it out. I can't. I just have to.
That's where it started, but it grew so much more after that. It was just fertilized by
that's where it started, and it never would have changed because he beat Florida State, and I get that. I understand the frustration.
Emmitt Smith did, and I love him.
Yeah, no, he didn't. But that's when Florida State was okay. They were okay.
Yeah, well, yeah.
They were good, but they weren't like the. Hey, John, what's it right now? What's the temperature in the Astros fandom? I know that they're going to be fine, but what's the temperature in the Astros business world as far as fans?
People are fired up about the Astros for 2 reasons. They're close to first place. They're over 500. They've had a lot of injuries. Framber Valdez, who was supposed to be one of their top pitchers, Dusty Baker told everybody yesterday he would definitely be back in June. He suffered a broken finger in the first inning of the first preseason game, and they immediately said he was out for the season. And he wanted to get a second opinion. It's a good thing he did, because they said he's going to be back now in June, and I'm guessing they're going to hang around the A's for first place in the AFC West. So because the Rockets are the worst team in the NBA and the Texans could be the worst team in the NFL, people down here are thank God for the Astros, because in 2019, the Rockets were a threat to win the AFC West, or they competed to win the AFC West, and the Texans advanced to the second round of the playoffs, and both of them have gone straight down the toilet. But the Astros are hanging in. They've elevated their capacity a little bit to 25 and change. They've sold out every game on a limited basis, and it's only a matter of time, I think, before they'll be offering every ticket for sale as the Rangers have done.
All right, we got 30 seconds or more. Do you have any Tigers in your neighborhood? I saw we discussed it.
I might.
You might.
I might, yeah. And
Be
it's
careful.
not LSU Tigers. We got a Tiger on the loose with a guy accused of murder who had him in his house. Now he's in his car, and the police are looking for him. And unfortunately, somebody may have to get that Tiger by the tail.
Is it a white Bronco? Is he driving around in a white Bronco?
I think it's a white Jeep, actually. Yeah. So,
John, thank
He's
you.
in a Jeep. We don't know what it is, though. Thank you guys and sick 'em.
That's a great John McClain. With us on Monday this week. He always gets away early.
Yeah, he does.
9 out of 10 times.
Yeah. And I'll say that, like, that's just driving around on the run for murder with a tiger in you. That is the last chapter of a book that does not end well.